Hi, I'm Paige with Paige's Yoga. I want to give you a short example of a practice that you may try on your own. You may even try it with this practice today, and just know that you could make it longer if you wanted to. Back pain. Back pain isn't something that can be summed up as being able to know if something will or will not help it. But what I can tell you is that I'm not here to diagnose your back pain, but trying to bring more awareness. Now, what I can tell you as a yoga therapist is that most often, critically, is that people will experience back pain, but what they don't understand is where the pain is may not be the problem, so they'll chase the symptom. In other words, where the pain is the only area that they'll work on and focus on. So I will be asking you to focus on areas away from your back, just to understand that most commonly, there are areas that you do not engage anymore. They're tiny, smaller areas of the body that you do not engage. And then there are some that you engage way too much. And then there are those that you engage way too much but never fully release. Which is why I like a practice that does a combination of slow movement so that you learn how to engage at areas that you do not typically use, as well as learn to release them. So I do a combination usually of some somatic practice, which really works slowly on retraining the soma of the brain into understanding those habits, the ones that don't let go, the ones that don't engage. I do like to integrate, though, myofascial release. So if you have some balls, they could be therapy balls, tennis ball, it could be your lacrosse ball, it could be something that's not a ball, only in this case for your back, I'd probably recommend more of a ball than, say, the tube. And then I usually also integrate yin yoga with that to sort of say, we'll stay still on it as well, help the joints and the connective tissue. Having some movement around the practice is also beneficial to understand, are we engaging the muscles? So I typically integrate some strength, some release, and then find what happens with stability. It can be mixed up in all of that, but I do find it beneficial to sometimes go in that order. Okay, so what you may need a block, you may need some balls, and I'm sitting on a pillow, which I'm going to end up using for my neck and for my head. This pillow is not so high, as you'll see when I lie down in a moment. It's not so high that my chin comes into the chest, and it's not so low that my chin goes up. You don't have to support your neck, but I choose to do so. So, what we'll first do is just have your props next to you. I'm going to put these over here because I'm not using them right off. I'm just going to lie down first. So, in lying down, I'm going to lie down from this direction, is to lie down, get down in. If you're having tremendous back pain, I would not start off with straight legs. Just keep the knees bent and take notice right now of your back. Notice it. Now, as we extend the legs, I want you to realize that you're not going to pull on your back. If you should feel any strain here, put a towel underneath you and keep your knees slightly bent. I would put something underneath the knees like your block or your balls. We're going to allow ourselves just to notice lying here. Okay. And then in noticing that, allow yourself just to choose one leg. One leg you're just going to slightly turn. I'm sorry, not even turn. Sorry. Let me start that over. Bring it in, bring it out. And I'll leave the airs in. I don't mind being that, like, hey, a yoga teacher isn't perfect. Bring it in, bring it out. Same leg. You're simply bending. In, out. Now this time when you go out, stop and notice if you're releasing everything yet. And then engage. Now engaging the muscles, it's interesting because again, most of us do not engage the inner thigh. We're not used to thinking about using the muscles here at the top of the thigh. So there, release. I can tell right here it's still holding on. That's okay. Bring it in. Take it back out. Release. Make sure you're checking on where that release is and where it isn't. In one more time. And release. Okay. This time, bring it in. We're going to take the thigh over to the side in 3 places. We're going to stop at one place, stop at another, and another. Bring it back up. Go ahead and slide that back out. Release. Good. Slide that back in. Stop it over to the side. 1, 2, 3. Think about this muscle. Bring it up with that muscle. Slide it back out. Release. Again, bring it back up. 1, 2, 3. Bring it back up. Slide it back out. Release. Now take a moment to notice here. What I notice is not for you to have the same comparison, but I definitely feel more of my leg, and that would be expected because I have used the muscles here where I haven't used them in the leg here. But it does feel longer as well, warmer. So just you take your time to notice one side to the other. Try to do so without any shame or judgment though. Good. For a longer practice, I would try other options of the leg, moving it to the side, but we're doing a shorter practice today, so we're just going to try the other leg, bringing it in, bring it up, bring it out. Okay, try that again. Now don't jump to it, don't jump to the side, just in and out. You can even close the eyes and notice what it's taking from the muscles, the bones. Maybe you're rushing yourself, so notice that too. Very important to realize we're not just working on a physical component here. You are a complex person, so notice what you notice here. You may notice if there's any worry, anything coming out from your day. Then pay attention. Slide the foot so that you feel the foot on the floor. Start to feel the sense of slowing down, quiet spaces here. Quiet times to just do this. Not a whole bunch of things at the same time, just this. Now I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to stop at 3 places to the side. 1, 2, 3. Bring it up. Slide it out. Bring it in. 1, 2, 3. Bring it up. Slide that out. Bring it back in. Think about the muscles working. 1, 2, 3. Inner thigh. Think about using that to lift the leg. Top thigh. Think about using the top thigh to slide the leg back out. Outside. Release. Okay. Engage the muscles back in. 1, 2, 3. Engage it to lift. And extend it back out. Release. Now release everything. Just pause for a moment. Good. Now, for a little bit more strengthening before we go into the myofascial release. Strengthening. Even more larger components of the muscles that we need to learn to strengthen are in the back. So I'm going to ask you to press down here. Press the back. Lift up the low back, but you're not going to arc hard in the spine. The spine is really nice and long here. It's not bringing the shoulder blades underneath like that. Just lengthen the spine. Now, if this is a lot for you to hold, go ahead and put a blanket or a pillow or a block here. And eventually you could also learn how to put that there, but lift up, lower down. Lift up, lower down. Now the problem is a lot of people are going to use their outside glutes to simply hold this. So if I ask you to bring the feet in closer and extend the leg is extended, my knees are still next to each other, I'm going to lift the foot up, I'm going to bring it ahead of me, and up, and ahead of me. Now you're going to try to do that 5 times without dropping the hips. I'll make it look easier than it is. Don't judge yourself. 1 is better than nothing. Good. And then you'll come down, rested for a moment. By not swinging the hips, we've actually learned how to use the abdominal muscles, the back muscles, to learn to use the pectoral muscles in the lifting of the leg, the extension and retraction of the leg. Okay, lifting up, other leg, knee still next to the other knee, leg up, leg ahead, stop when the knee meets the other knee, up and ahead. Slower is harder. That's because we took momentum out. We stopped swinging the leg. Swinging is what a lot of people will do when they're trying to build muscle. That's why you'll see people with weights and they're too heavy because they're swinging from the shoulder to swing the weight. So stop swinging it. Less weight, smaller movement, muscle builds. Relax it down. Now, the temptation may be to rock in the knees. The problem is if you rock the knees all the way up, you're going to round the back and distort the pelvis. Let's keep the back long where it is right now. And this is where we'll do some ball release. Now, the balls. You can place the balls anywhere on the back. And anywhere on the back, low back, middle back, even the upper back, I'll show you from the front, which is what I like to show people, is this particular area in the back is at your scapula. It's going to hurt. I don't need it to hurt the most though. So here's what I do suggest, is to put the ball down, lay on it on one side, but lay on the side without the ball more. And this way I can control how much pressure I'm pushing on it, because I do not need it to be the most painful experience in order to be effective. I just need it enough that you can hear I can still talk. What I don't want to do is simply do things and hold my body in flight fight. So I'm going to move the ball about every 30 seconds to maybe a minute if I'm shorter on time. If you have more time, up to 3 minutes. And yes, I'm going to work all parts of the spine. I'm not just going to go for the low back just because that happens to be where I find maybe the greatest relief. I enjoy the low back. It doesn't hurt as much, because this could be where problems are. This could be something that you'd want to observe and assess. And when you're ready, you can always try the other side. So continue to do the balls. You can do the balls. You can stop the video right now, do the ball work all over the back, noticing it. Maybe you want to come back later and do the balls. Okay. Remember in doing the balls though, not to feel like there's an area that you're scared of. If you do feel scared of it, how could you address it? How could you modify it, adjust it? Like I mentioned, maybe just by lying on the side without it so much. And then be kind with yourself, be patient. After all, the ball's only showing you something like a mirror. It's just showing you, where things are and where things are hurting, it needs you to be kind. And then what I would do is finish with stability. I do finish with it with that, which is to lie down, put the block along the sacrum. Now most people don't know where that is. That means most people put the block up here and they're arcing a lot. And I'm like, no, on the buttocks. Just think about putting the block somewhere lower on the buttocks, and you'll see there that your back will land and be very comfortable here. Very little arcing. The knees. Keep the knees straight ahead instead of rolling out, but right here. Now, some people do like to lift, so I want to show you what happens. When you lift here, knees are right above the hips. For a lot of people, this not only presses into the piriformis here, but this just feels better. Better than it did when the knees were ahead. So get to know that. If you wanted to relax here more, you could see where you could put your feet up maybe on a chair. I'll have people where the chair is much higher, so having their back flat on the floor and trying to get their legs above the chair is not as comfortable as it is with the block. And we're sustaining here, staying here. Don't even try to think about other things that you may do in poses like this right now. Just feel the stability of the pelvis. Take a deep breath in. Nice big breath out. And then consider what else could relax here. Let's start off thinking about what could relax physically first. My jaw, my tongue, usually my eyes, my throat, my chest. Even my breath could be a little bit deeper. Yeah. You decide if you like the legs here. Some people cross the feet. Check on what else could soften. Finding the quiet moments in your day right now. Learning when to have this space, this time, this unplanned time in your life where you don't have to be productive. You could just be right here. But do notice if anything's pulling at you, any regret or anything that is telling you any different than that. And that's what's learned behavior. Society somehow has maybe made you feel that way. Check on it. Is that so? Or with so many people where they've been really convinced of that. Like if I slow down, I'm weaker, less than. Is that true? Check on that. I like to have a lot of unplanned time during my day that just allows myself to drop into presence. Dropping into it long enough to just understand what I need to do next, what action is needed. So it actually makes my activity better when I return to it. Yeah. You may have already started to stretch and get up as I got up. Again, the practice was meant to be short. If you want it longer, you could finish this video and turn to one of my other videos where I end with a meditation or breath work. Allow yourself to notice not only after this practice what's going on with your back, but to observe during your day what's happening. Where can you incorporate more awareness with each step that you take as you walk? As you go up the stairs, as you step into the shower, as you carry the groceries. How could you incorporate more awareness and mindfulness in your activity? I hope this helps, and I hope that you'll just keep exploring. Try to do so without judgment. Have a good day for no reason.